Based on how you went with classes, we're going to get a little more practice with our equations. All right, so first thing, does it matter that the variables are on the right side instead of the left side? No, it doesn't matter at all. It still gets solved the exact same way. If you really want, you can always go ahead and take this part here and flip it over here. It doesn't make a difference. It still gets solved, same steps. So what's step one? We're going to distribute. So when I do that, 34 stays as x4 are not part of the distributing. We are only distributing what's in front of the parentheses. So that's the 3. It gets multiplied into both parts. So 3 times 3x gives me 9x. 3 times 6 gives me 18. So there's step one. Terms. So 34 is on the opposite side of the equal sign. It's got to stay by itself. What like terms do I have on the right side? X and 9x. What else? The 4 and the 18. All right? Everybody good with that? The variables go with variables, constants with constants, okay? And if we had different variables, we won't have different variables, but if we had different variables, we can't combine them either. So with the x and the 9x, it's just x plus 9x. What's that? 10x. Whenever there's nothing in front of the variable, remember that's like there's a 1 there. So we got 10x. All right, so I got minus 4 and a plus 18. So when the signs are different, what do we do? Subtract. So 18 minus 4, 14. Is it plus or minus 14? Plus. Why is it plus? Use the sign of the bigger number. 18 is the bigger number, so we're going to have a plus 14. All right, so what's now? We got to do opposite. We got to get rid of addition or subtraction first. So I've got a plus 14. The opposite of that, we're going to go minus 14. And if you do it to one side of the equal sign, you got to do it to the other. We're trying to get the variable by itself, so we're getting things away from the variable. Cancels out there, just left with 10x. 34 minus 14, 20. After we do the addition and subtraction part, we do multiplication or division. Most of the problems, this step's going to be division. Occasionally, you could have like x over 3 or something like that where you got to multiply. But when we divide, 20 divided by 10, 2. Any questions on that? This is something, at least in my opinion, each step isn't different. None of the individual steps, none of the individual pieces are hard math to do. There's a lot of them, and if you make one mistake, it messes up everything. So you got to make sure you're being careful and doing things right. Try this one. All right, who thinks I got it? Nick, what you got? Nope. We're going to go fraction. I know exactly where you messed up. If you got 2 for this, you made a mistake there at the end. Connor? All right, missing something there. Corey? No. Keller? All right, so we are going to distribute first. When I distribute the minus 4x, nothing happens with it yet. It's still just there. We take the 6, multiply it by both parts. So I got plus 24x, I've got minus 18, and it equals negative 8. Everybody good with that step? From what I can tell, most people did that step correctly. All right, now we combine like terms. The 24x and the minus 4x. All right, we cannot combine the minus 18 and the negative 8. Why not? They're on opposite sides of the equal sign. To combine them, they have to be on the same side of the equal sign, okay? So what is 24x minus 4x? 20x. So we got 20x minus 18 equals negative 8. Now we're at an equation we can solve. So what am I side, right? So we add 18, add 18. We are trying to get x by itself, so we're moving things away from the variable. Cancels out. All we're left with right there is 20x. On this side, I got a minus 18. And it's a positive 18, so that's why it's a positive 10. I forget which one of y'all said negative with your answer. That's where you get the positive from, okay? This is the part you messed up on. I would assume you have everything. And, you know, I saw a few of y'all had 2. When we divide, we're dividing by 20, right? We want the 20s to cancel out. Y'all, there is a reason we write the division this way, okay? 1, it just fits better for like working out a problem. But 2, it also shows you when you have a fraction. All right? If the top number is smaller than your bottom number, if the numerator is smaller than the denominator, it's going to be a fraction. It's right there is 10 divided by 20. 10 divided by 20 is different than 20 divided by 10. As that fraction is, I can simplify that. What goes into 10 and 20? 10. So if we divide by 10, we get 1/2. Okay? Everybody follow? Everybody good? That's it. A lot of y'all were real close, and I know exactly where you were making your mistakes. We just got to be careful with signs, careful with how we do that division, all right? All right, so a little different looking. This is a type of problem I've seen a decent amount on the EOGs. I like to put these on your tests, the ones that look kind of like this. So what do we do first? So what looks weird about this? It's a fraction, or kind of like a fraction at least, right? So we're going to make it not like a fraction, okay? That's what we're going to do first. Get it so it looks normal. What type of math are we doing with that 2? Division. When it's a fraction, remember, that's division, right? So what's the opposite? Multiplication. So if I multiply both sides by 2, these 2's cancel out. So I got 3x plus 4. And then I got 11 times 2, that's 22. That's an equation we can do then, isn't it? We subtract 4 from each side. So we get 3x equals 18. We divide by 3. And we get x equals 6. So that's not that bad, is it? It's just got that little different step to start with, where we got to get rid of that denominator. Okay? Everybody okay with that? All right, so that's how this one works. Everything's on top with a denominator 2 on the left side. Is this the same? This ain't the same. All right, we got the same numbers. I got a 3x, I got a 2, I got a 4, I got an 11, a 3x, a 2, a 4, and an 11. But not everything's on top this time, is it? So we got to do this one a little differently. All right, if everything's on top, we get rid of the denominator first. When we got something like this, we got to get rid of that 4 first. Okay? So I get rid of that 4 by subtracting 4. We'd have 3x over 2. Everybody good with that? I can do this 2 different ways. I can pretend like that's a fraction, 3 over 2, multiplied by the x, which means we then divide by 3 over 2. Or I can do it in 2 pieces. I'm going to do it in 2 pieces because I think that's kind of easier to show. This is dividing by 2, right? So we multiply by 2. Those 2's cancel. So I got 3x equals 14. Now I divide by 3. How many times 3 go into 14? 4 times. But we got 2 left over, so 2/3. And really 14 over 3 would be okay for an answer also. Okay? Everybody kind of follow on the difference between those 2 types of equations? Any questions on that?